Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the WLTCG podcast. My name is Sam. Today we have Roderick and Joel, such as the normal.
Say it with your chest.
So, if you watched last week, you know that I've been waiting for spoilers. I've been waiting
Like
so
a fucking crackhead.
long. I got to, day 21, and like 2 hours before I was going to write day 22 in our chat. Finally, we got something to go off of.
Yeah.
Sam wakes up and goes, I smell new cards. Here's new cards. What?
I was actually planning to go to sleep. I was like, I'm going to get a good night's sleep. And then, I think one of you tagged me or someone said something. I was like, oh, spoilers? Spoilers. Okay, spoilers. Yes. Yes. Delicious. So I guess we should just get right into this.
Oh, yeah.
So let's start with the buyer box promo ruler.
Yeah, boy. All right, homeboys and home skillet biscuits. We have our first ruler that has stranger printed on it for the new mechanic. Her name is Lyneth, the priestess of Vel Savaria. So she is a priest race and a light and fire ruler. So I'm already liking this. Y'all know I like my light and fire stuff. But here we see our first confirmation of or at least a glimpse of what Stranger does. So we have Stranger 10, and the reminder text there says, you may begin the game with the Stranger deck of exactly 10 Stranger Resonators. And we'll show you exactly what they look like in a little bit. But you may not have more than 2 copies of any card in your Stranger deck. So 1, it has to be exactly 10 cards in your Stranger deck. And 2, you can only have up to 2 copies of a particular Stranger Resonator. That's their way of balancing. So we're going to come back to Stranger and talk about that in a little while. But to get through the card, we have a Judgment cost of 3, 2 light, 1 fire. She energizes for light and fire. Only one of either of those. You can't do both.
Light or fire, man.
Yeah, light or fire. So whenever Regalia enters the field under your control, choose one. But if the Regalia is Caduceus, choose up to 2 instead. You can either choose a card from your Stranger deck at random and put it into your hand, or remove the top card of your deck from the game, then draw a card. That's all one ability. Or remove target Resonator with total cost 1 or less from the game. Or you may pay 0 to do Judgment until end of turn. So already, the front side of this card is looking spicy. It is just looking good. And it all depends on what kind of Resonators we could pull from it. But spoiler alert, it's bonkers. So on the J Ruler side, we have Lyneth, the priestess of Vel Savaria. Same name. They just kept the name.
Closed eyes to open eyes, yes.
Yeah. So art is relatively the same. A couple things like open eyes, more flare, etc. And it's full art. So attack and defense is 1100/1400. But she's also a 12 protective deity once she flips over. So I feel like that's going to have some significance. We haven't really seen the implications of that yet, but that's cool. Still light fire. And when she enters, remove target non-J-Ruler, non-Magic Stone entity from the game. So if it ain't a J-Ruler or Magic Stone, you could just remove it from the game on enter. That already is pretty good for an enter ability.
I mean, get rid of a big Resonator or an addition that you don't like, or even a Regalia.
Yeah. So imagine if you're playing against Diversity Alice and they haven't exactly came online, or rather, let's say you're playing against Diversity Alice, they stick the Alice down and they give her Eternal, but the addition hasn't hit yet, so they're not bopping you for billion damage. You could flip her and remove the Alice from the game. That in and of itself is pretty cool, among other things. But she also has a God's Art, so those are coming back. Oh boy. Power of Magna. For 1 light, 1 fire, choose a card from your Stranger deck at random and put it into your hand. Then you may put a Stranger from your hand into the field. That's spicy. That's really nice. What y'all think?
That could either high roll, really high, or low roll.
I don't know, man. Like out of the 2 we've seen, there's one that I really would like to just shove onto a board.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen 3, 2 of which are in her color. So...
Yeah.
We've seen.
So, I would say the biggest thing to me, which we can compare for you, since we're also going to talk about it later, but I really like about hers, there's a lot more... Like, originally, I thought Strangers was going to be more or less like you pick one at random and it just goes into your board. Mm-hmm. But I like hers because it's a little bit more like, if I play the Regalia, I can add one to my hand randomly. Mm-hmm. I Judgment for free because I play Caduceus. Let's say I do the God's Art. I now add a second one to my hand. So the minimum I have 2 different options to just shove them to my board for free. Mm-hmm. Which I feel like it's a lot more...
It's more flexible than it looks.
It's random still, but it's more about random drawing than just random.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I'm just gonna
allow-
top deck and hope I win. Instead of that, it's like I'm gonna get like a couple cards into my hand, and then from there I'm gonna just put one onto my board. I'm gonna choose it.
Yeah,
So
this
that way you
could
have more control.
this could like allow our overlords I Spy to kind of like increase the power level of some of these strangers, as we will soon see.
They've already done that, man.
Oh yeah. Well, like, how can we just make really strong cards to challenge the rune deck, but not make them completely busted? Oh, I don't know. Why not just make it somewhat random?
Make it random to add to hand, and then you can sometimes play them for free.
Yeah.
But you have to pay costs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is a little bit better than Divinity in my opinion. Just because Divinity is like, oh, you always have these 5 cards.
Yeah,
They're
and
always
you can
there.
choose them at
And
whatever
sometimes they're
time.
just free, always. It's just like, oh, like turn 1, I just want to Explorer, Sandstorm.
Make you discard a card randomly. I don't
Make a
know.
discard card randomly. You can't play all those in one
Cancel
deck.
a rune.
You know
Get
what-
2
you know
on 1
what?
counters on 2 machines.
Yeah.
Put a 2 cost or less human onto the board from your discard.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Yeah, so you can do crazy stuff. But what else is cool is that, after I was thinking about this kind of stuff, and I mentioned it to y'all before, the random mechanic is probably going to be pretty persistent among Stranger J rulers because it specifies that your Stranger deck has to be exactly 10. If it was anything less, then you'd have ways of exploiting getting what you want.
Yeah.
So if
If
you
you
only
play
want
2 of
The
2
best.
different ones, then it's just like, well, I always have like one of these good ones in my hand.
Yeah, so that's why they have that. They at least want you to try to like work for it in a sense. But that's why there's that. There was something else I was going to mention about. There doesn't seem to be a color restriction yet. There could be something in the
I
CR
think
that dictates that.
Wasn't runes like that at the start?
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
say we're probably going to get like Sierra that just says like it has to match your color of the ruler. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's just going to become a fact of like, for the most part, like 6 of them are just always going to be the like 3 best ones. You play 2 copies of each.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the last 4 are like text for your color. So you
Yeah.
make sure you can play them, which I don't like. Like, I'd rather be like very specific to where it's like, hey, you have to be playing her, or you have to be, playing these colors to play this one, or this color to play this one.
Yeah, but I could
So it evens it out.
we could probably say with confidence that they'll be color locked if they keep like the somewhat extra deck rules that we've had.
Yeah, there's always some type of restriction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these so good.
Yeah, we'll have to see. They probably will lock it. At the same time, though, if they don't, I think it'll be less detrimental than with the runes. Because with runes, you knew exactly what you wanted to play and you could have access to it so long as you had
Yeah.
the will. If you, for example, had a darkness stranger resonator and you were running light and fire and had no way to actually pay its cost, anytime you're getting randomly from the stranger deck and you pull that card, it's now a deficit if you don't have any way to cheat it in. So it wouldn't exactly be over the top, but it also wouldn't be the same as just getting the 5 best runes because it's still random. But
So how are we gonna play these?
how are we
strangers?
gonna play them?
How do I cheat them?
How do you cheat them?
How do I mana ramp?
So how you cheat them in is with Linus because Linus does everything. I'm going hard on that card, but Caduceus, her regalia, is also pretty spicy. It was actually the first card we saw from all of these cards in the new cluster in a different language, though, and we were just like, what the hell does all of this mean? But Caduceus is the name of her regalia. It costs 1 light, 1 fire. It doesn't really have any traits. It's a light fire regalia. It has Mythic as its text. So Mythic is printed on another regalia that we'll go over later, but basically you can only control 1 copy of a card with this name at a time that has Mythic. If you were to control 2 or more at any given time, you have to banish all but 1 of them. So for our veterans, it's pretty much like the True Magic Stone rule,
Yeah.
where you can't control more than 1 of that same name. So same thing with our regalias here, including Caduceus, you can only have 1 on board. Now, you got more than 1 in deck,
Yes.
but
Yeah,
won't be able to.
which I like. You can play for dad consistency, but then you got to think about the fact that if you have 1 in hand, 1 on board, then you got to
Yeah.
actually process like, okay, well, I'm not going to mana ramp initially, so there's a lot more thought that goes into it than
Yeah.
just slam down regalia, slam down regalia.
I'm gonna come
slam
back
down
to it, but
regalia.
that's still actually very busted that they
Oh, yeah.
haven't limited to 1 per deck. But I'll come back to how insane that is. It does have consistency though.
Yeah.
But it also gives your J ruler drain. And I've heard some people, including myself, I talked about it briefly, talking about like, oh, well, you could just slap this in the ISIS deck and now ISIS has drain, which is true. A first strike drain precision barrier thing that can burn you for 200 that's a lot of text. I don't think that it's going to see like a lot of play. That seems more like fringe case, because you also have to think right now we're in a J ruler hate meta. So you always got to keep Will up to even keep her alive. But then Perfect Loki comes down and goes,
nope,
neg board, and then whole strat goes under. So I don't think that's going to be a thing, but you can absolutely run it and gain a lot of life. But you can tap this thing to produce 2 wills in any combination of light and or fire. Spin this will only to play strangers, mage arts, or activate abilities of 12 protective deities. Now, it is cost, like it essentially pays for itself whenever you're trying to play some of these cards that actually relate to the mechanics, like strangers. As you'll see, this card literally just replaces itself on one of the strangers we're going to discuss. Mage arts, we've seen one so far, but
we'll get to my problem with that one. But what I do like about this is the fact that, like, because Lennis, ruler side, it comes in, you get to pick 2. You can go, I'm going to add a stranger, I'm going to judgment for free. You judgment, you can tap this immediately, pay for the God's Art, you add another one, you play it.
Yep.
So for like,
and you remove target non J ruler, non rhythmic from the game.
Bonus.
So their setup, remove it, because you could do this pretty early. In fact, you can energize off of this.
Yeah, so like turn 2 you can do this if you go second, or turn 3 if you go.
Oh no, we still
first.
have Acolyte of the Sun. That's what it's called, right?
That would not speed it up a turn.
No.
Yeah, because you still need the red.
Yeah.
Unless she gives a red-white stone.
Oh my gosh, I totally see that coming.
Yeah.
100%. Like, I'm pretty sure, if they go by the same way that Melgus and Faria works, I'm pretty sure she's going to get 2. My guess is one of the stones is going to be like, you have to be playing her, and the other one's going to be, you can produce like light, and then you can produce red to play strangers. Yeah, so that way it's like, it's kind of almost reminiscent of the story stone. I forget the name now.
Oh, jeez.
Cherry
The
stone.
Cherry Stone.
It is Speaking Stone?
Speaking stone, yeah. So something like that, where it's just like, you can produce this color for like anything in your main deck, but then like you can only produce this color for like
Anything for your side.
or
a card that
extra deck
originated in your side.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but for them it's just gonna be like it's
Strange.
still your main deck because it's in your hand. Strangers. Yeah. My only problem with like, no, I'll bring this up later. What am I talking about?
Now, one other thing I want to say about this card, probably one of the biggest things other than literally, the whole card is just great, but play activate abilities of 12 protective deities. That right there, that is going to be big here in a moment. There's a card that I saw, and I'm just like that Vince McMahon meme where he's just like all of his facial expressions. I'm about to break the mic where he's like, it's bonkers. It is crazy. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get into some of these cards, but we do want to go over Faria before we jump right into the madness. So since that's blue, I'm gonna leave it to Joel to explain.
Okay.
Cool. So, Faria, ruler, little girl.
So real quick, guys. So little girl is a text that as a race almost never appears. There's been RR. I think at one point there's a couple other cards that reference it, but little girl is very rare, and I'm so happy it's finally coming back.
I believe we only seen Little Girl on Refrain and maybe Alice.
Reflect, I think. Which one's which side?
Reflect
you
is the
know.
boy.
Reflect is the
But
right. Yeah. You're right.
But anyways,
See, I know more about RR than he does.
Shut
and
up.
Sam did a video about it.
I didn't
too.
talk about the races. Okay.
But
That's
anyways, Faria, she's a white-blue ruler, Stranger 10, and all that jazz that comes with the restrictions of Stranger 10. Judgment, 2 light, 1 blue. Energize, either for light or blue. Whenever a light regalia enters the field under your control, choose 1. If the regalia is Excalibur, choose up to 2 instead. Choose a card from your Stranger deck at random, put it into your hand. Or destroy target rest of Resonator, or draw a card. Or you may Judgment for free this turn. J ruler side. Faria. Nice.
Yes.
Oh, what's the race?
Her Her race is 7 kings.
And why is that important?
Because Val.
Val,
Val
2.0.
2.0.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
So-
She's
Support out of
getting tools
nowhere.
this set.
But anyways, she's a 10-10 or 1,000, whichever one you're going to call it. She has precision. Enter. Choose a card from your stranger deck at random. Put it onto the field. You could either high roll, could low roll. But most of the time, the strangers we've seen so far are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen one blue one. And
I
like
think
to
it's
get that
honestly
one.
going to be hard
Yeah.
to low roll.
Yeah.
Maybe average roll. I'll give you average roll, but low roll.
Because especially if you put like, when we get to the card very, very soon, there's a stranger that's 1 cost, and its power level is like a 3 drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 3 drops power level is about 4 to 5 drops.
But anyways,
Yeah.
her gods art, Breath of the Sacred Queen, 1 blue, 1 yellow, or 1 white. This card gains +4/+4, drain, and eternal until end of turn. Choose a card from your stranger deck at random, put it into your hand.
So before we talk about the effect, I just want to point out, like, imagine, like, the way I imagine this gods are working IRL is she just goes and breathes on somebody and goes, "I bless you." And like just like Breath of the Sacred Queen. I don't know who wrote this text, but the effect is just great.
Oh man, it's so wonderful. Just
Come on, man.
why not just I swing for my 10-10 J ruler. You try to kill it, whatever, right? God's art. It survives. It's now 14-14. It now has drain. But wait, it gets better because we have her regalia, Excalibur. 1 blue, 1 white, mythic. Your J ruler gains +4/+4. So Faria, when she God's art, will be a goddamn 18-18 with drain and eternal.
And precision?
And precision. She's gonna hit something.
Very,
But,
very hard.
Excalibur has a tap ability. Produce 2 will in any combination of white or blue. Spend this will only to play God's Art abilities, strangers, or sword arts. That's about it on this card.
Yeah. So, I
Sword
guess
Art Online.
Should we start with the... Yes. I love this joke. No, should we start with the first sword art?
Your shit is taste. If you just said Sword Art Online is good.
I said the joke was good.
Okay.
Just the joke.
Never mind. I was supposed to be like, we were about to have
Excel
a goddamn
rules
fight
better.
right here.
Yeah, I can agree with that 100%.
Excel World, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
okay, that's
so,
good.
so do you have the text of the first sword art? I would like to...
Oh, yeah.
That's... I asked for a same card. I'm not seeing it. You lied to me.
But I like the Excalibur card. It's nice. It's
Oh, yeah.
just a buff. Why not just have a casual +4/+4 to your J ruler?
Strong.
That's all there is to it. Just strong.
It's so funny to me because it's just like most regalias used to be like, yeah, you could have to give +2/+2 or +2 damage, and like Faria's would naturally give like precision, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, and I think that was great. But then like you get something like this, and it's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna buff you by +4/+4.
Haven't you also noticed that in old Regalia you used to tap to gain the effects? This one they're like, no. You get a base cloud effect. You can't stack this.
Yeah.
You just get this.
Unless we just get more regalia that have more buff abilities.
No, like I was talking like Roger earlier, and I fully think that we're gonna get like low cost regalia just so we can trigger their abilities, like the rulers, but make sure that they don't do a whole lot. Like
Yeah.
a white one that just gives +1/+1 to your ruler.
Or blue one
That's
blue
it.
that says when it enters, draw a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like very very baseline, like either continuous ability or one time ability, just to get the ruler
Triggers.
off and do pretty much nothing else.
Yeah.
Where it's just like we only want you to get this ability off, and that's it. Whatever else you get, it's gonna cost you a lot for.
Yeah.
So I guess, do you want to move on to my favorite?
The sword art.
What's your
No, he
favorite?
doesn't have a sword art.
Oh, we
What's
don't
your
have the
favorite, Sam?
Well, so if anyone who personally knows me, knows I love the 12 apostles. So if you notice, there's the 12 protective deities. So I was like 12. I know that number. I wonder if we're going to get the 12 apostles. But before they were the 12 apostles. So there's a 12th apostle named Izanami.
Oh, so we're jumping straight into that, huh? Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to talk about this card too.
Yeah.
So let me just read it. Because Izanami was a card that I love to use. So this one's a little bit different. It's Izanami, the god of life. It's 2 white, 1 void. 800, 800. Drain, Barrier, Resonator. You gain Barrier. Because,
Why not? Why
not?
the fuck not?
hey man, I don't really want, what is it? Whirlwind
Hey, Whirlwind did nothing wrong.
I
man.
appreciate you not burning my face. Thank you very much.
1200 damage
I'm
is
good.
something I would prefer not to
Would
have.
you prefer 1700?
We don't talk about that.
So, and then for 2 white, 1 red, you can discard this card, put target Resonator with total cost 3 or less from your graveyard onto the field.
A goddamn quick cast speed.
Quick cast speed. It's basically inherent, but without the keyword again.
Because
So
why the fuck not?
yes, Roger, you can talk about the fact that it's an activate ability of a 12 protective deity.
So, one, because I have 3 things to say. One, this card looks very pretty. If I pull a full art, nobody better even come at me with trade
God,
requests.
I'm gonna be real pissed if I don't get a goddamn full art. 'Cause I'm getting,
That thing looks beautiful.
it looks amazing.
So if you come at me with the trade request, you better be putting up a good stack of money that would entice me to just go buy my own. So she looks good. 2, she is a 12 protective deity, which combos with this little card that exists called Caduceus, which you can produce light and fire. So once you have Caduceus out, she effectively costs 1 from your
why
will.
not?
It's crazy. It's bonkers.
And then there's no restriction besides the cost for what you can get back.
So she can literally grab anything.
She can grab herself. Well, not target herself,
Yeah.
but you can. If you
Grab
have another
one of
yeah,
her.
you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I really want to play her, but I can only pay for strangers.
Oh no!
No. I'll just pay for her ability.
Yeah.
So you can't cancel it with normal cancel spells. You have to cancel the ability, which is way harder, especially going to this format. And it's cheaper.
I know.
You can also grab, let's think of all the other great 3-drops. Isis,
yeah,
Gnarly,
Genshi.
Genshi.
If you really want
That's
to
just
go,
red.
Yeah.
Why not just a stemma during your opponent's turn?
Estema.
Or, hey, I have a Kaguya engraved.
Kaguya, Athenia.
Yes.
Oh no!
What were you gonna say?
That means
Lancelot.
red white can actually
you
check.
No, bad boy.
Red, white, blue, man.
I'm proud to be an American.
Isis can go green splash now and always have access to a Kaguya to cancel stuff with.
No, I don't like this.
No.
Oh, I freaking love
Stop
this.
this.
Oh, like the ability is bonkers. Actually, okay, that would be a reason why you would play this Regalia is so that you can do
Red, white, green.
do degenerate things with Izanami. And I mean, even like without the Regalia, still flashing something in as a 3 or
3.
less
Yeah.
for 3,
That's
like
pretty
yeah.
much you're just playing it from your grave at that point.
yeah.
Because I mean, like, just in general, like, there's a lot of good, like, 3-drops that you're like, wow, it sucks that thing died. I really wish I could have it back on board. And you're like, I can.
I'm not gonna lie, that ability should have been a goddamn forecast.
You know,
I don't actually agree. Because I think 4 costs is slightly too much. But then again, with Caduceus,
now would you
Maybe
say
it's
they
fair
should have
to
made it
cost.
cost 2 or less that they bring back?
yeah.
Total
Yeah,
cost
'cause
2 or less?
I think the 3-drops we've had always bring back a 2-drop.
If she couldn't target
or
herself.
less.
Like, I think that's the biggest thing is, like, yeah, there's really good 3-drops, but then the fact that you can, like, discard something to get
As-
back, like, a
yeah.
2-drop or a 3-drop
Mm-hmm.
that's already been discarded. Like, heck, Perfect Loki.
God, why
Quick
the
cast
fuck
speed,
not?
Perfect Loki from grave. Now, this sounds like a good game, guys.
With
And,
light
and
and
you don't
fire.
get a reduction off of the minus ability because Izanami's going to
Yeah.
replace Loki and
Yeah.
Grave.
And then after that, it's just like, wow, I drew another one, and I want to have it as a blocker on their turn. Discard, put it onto the board, block. It's like, okay, now I get like plus 800 life, and maybe it lives. I don't really care because I got a blocker for 1 mana equivalently
Yeah.
with Caduceus. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this card is getting. Then it has drain, so it's a body.
and then you get Barrier.
Buried or Resonator.
Barrier Resonator is pretty good.
Gnarly can't target her.
No, they can't target her. Lancelot has to use the -10.
Oh no, I got it casually -10.
But I mean, like there are times where if I had one thing on board
oh yeah,
and you want to go for the kill, like you would love to just be able to go, yeah, just remove 3 to kill it.
yeah.
But if you have to remove 10, then you may not have game then.
I guess true.
Yeah, it kind of depends. But besides that, like there's just a lot of like decent number of stuff. Like I don't know, a 3-cost giant. All the giants can't target her.
Yeah.
So also, if I play Izanami, you can't target me with Scorn of Dark Alice. Scorn targets player.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
playing this card, Sam. I am playing.
I
this
cast
card.
Scorn in response. I play Izanami.
I discarded Izanami, play it on the board. Oh, you can't target me.
My God. My
Oh.
God.
that's
How many cards
horrible.
do we have any cards in the format that say target player?
Oh, you want to
hold
bet?
up.
Let's.
Because there's got to be a decent like you can look that
Also,
up.
there are 11 different little girl cards. Don't ask me how I know that. So, but
There are a lot more than I thought.
so
Yeah.
Huh.
target player.
Now that I've seen them, I understand.
I'll look up target player and target opponent. So a bunch of burn.
Surprise, surprise, burn.
Then we
Because
have.
I'm just curious, how many cards are people going to play and be like, I target you, and you're like, no, you legally played this card, and it says target player. I have barrier. You don't have to target yourself. There's got to be cards like that, right?
Other than Whirlwind. Even though with well, see, the thing looking for legal cards is because we're also got to account for like Alice Cluster because some of those are coming back.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to dig through, and we'll do that at some other point. But just know,
Yeah, there's a lot of jank to come.
But anyways,
So,
we
do you
should
want to move to the next one?
Yes.
let's
move
stay
to
on
the
light
next
while
one.
we're on light.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna.
So, Argivane, the hard hand.
The hard hand.
He will lay down the goddamn law.
And guess
Oh,
what race
Lord-
he is?
Lord bless my pimp hand.
And what race is he?
He is a 1-drop 4/4 Knight of the Round Table.
New Knights, boys.
Mhm. But anyways, this dude comes with Barrier Fire, Barrier Black. Don't ask me
Bonkers.
why the fuck they put Barrier Red, then another Barrier Black.
It's not like I don't know. We've literally had a card that says barrier red black,
But anyways,
a 1-drop.
who also
light.
happened to be a Knight of the Round Table that had Barrier Red Black. But anyways, for 1 white, target Resonator gains Barrier Red and Barrier Black until end of turn.
So
Solid one.
once
drop.
he hits the board, you have a limited amount of time to kill him if you are a red or black deck. After that, just stop. Just give up on targeting your opponent's things.
Oh yeah, easy.
Oh man, he's just so good. Why does he exist? It hurts me.
Okay.
Y'all killing me, man.
So what's next?
Any other white new cards?
No,
Was-
I don't think so.
Do you want to talk about the leaked card that we haven't got translated yet, or wait?
Which one?
The
Yeah.
search.
Do you have the translation on you? I know it
I
somewhat.
don't think I.
Okay, so I can tell you. So while you look it up,
Yeah.
so it's 1 light, quick cast, and it is a chant, but it has the typing of a sword art, not online. So, and sword art means that, of course, Fario's Regalia can pay for it. Very important. So you can target Resonator with 900 or more attack, remove it from the game,
Yes.
Right. or you can have target. What is it? You can search your deck.
For a 5 heroes card, and then reveal it and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards.
If you control Lars, though,
yes.
you get both.
Yes.
So we're pretty sure he's going to be a 5 heroes or something. Basically, you play it with him. You can go, that gnarly's gone. It's RFG. You should probably have to kill herself if you
Yeah.
want it to not be an RFG.
Yeah. Did you mention it was quick cast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Quick is very important. So like they're like, I'm going to swim my gnarly, and you're like, RFG it. I love the fact that it seems like every single cluster, there's at least one quick cast like battle arts that's just like, I don't want thing to exist.
No.
Because we've had Zero's Magic Light, Miscalc. Now we have this. Every single format, there seems like more and more cards. They're just 1-drop white. That's like, I don't like you to attack me. Stop it.
Yeah. So that finishes off our. Oh wait, I guess. Do you want to run through the white reprints right now, real quick?
I wouldn't say name them all, but I'm just gonna name the biggest one.
We know what the biggest one is.
Gwyber.
Gwyber.
Goddamn Gwyber.
Gwyber.
So really quick, just to give you guys how good Gwyber was, there was turn 1 Gwyber. Gwyber is a 12/12 flyer. Turn 1, you could pretty consistently play this. Or if you couldn't play it turn 1, you go turn 2 double Gwyber, because that's a fair card.
Yeah. So
It is a 5 cost that reduces itself down to 1.
So we're gonna have this on screen
Yeah,
for
yeah,
people
yeah,
to see.
yeah. So, but if you're listening to it real quick, it is a 5 cost, 1 light, 4 void, 12/12, resonator, dragon, flying. You're like, oh, that costs a lot, but no, it doesn't. Please wait. You may pay 2 less to play this card for each resonator you control that entered the field this turn under your turn. Note, those resonators still have to be on the board when you pay for Gwyber. So you can't just
And
sack
it's
them off.
to voidless.
Yeah,
You
two
can't
voidless.
eventually make him completely free off of his own ability.
But
So-
1 light for a
Yeah.
12/12 flyer is still pretty
Spicy.
sick to
It's
me.
good.
Yeah.
It's just straight good.
Besides that, we got some like Knights and whatnot.
We
It
got
doesn't
Knights
matter.
of the Round Table. Got a dog that can destroy additions.
The only thing that's big, I don't really want to spend too much time on it right now because I feel like we can loop back to this eventually, is the fact that we got an addition that used to be an addition field. Now it's just an addition.
It's addition castle.
Addition.
It's a castle edition.
castle.
But addition field and additions are
Yeah.
different. According to CR. But now that we have a reprint, it brings up the question of, do we change all of the copies? Or do we just change the new copies to be editions?
I mean, that's
we don't know yet. We'll have to find out
Now
later.
they're essentially going to function very similar. We only start getting into differences when we start using like very OG Atlas cards that reference field edition, things of that nature.
Because then they can't target editions. It's a weird thing.
But anyway.
So red. Red's the next color.
Red, you say? So I'm actually going to leave because red actually has some strangers. I'm going to leave those for last so I can burn through some of the other, like the rare and burn the cinders, like burn through that so we can talk about the strangers. So the first card on our list is going to be Firefox. No, this one isn't made by Mozilla, but it is a 1 red, 400 attack and defense beast resonator. It has enter. This card may deal 400 damage to you. If it does, this card gains plus 100 attack and swiftness until end of turn. So when he comes in, you get to take the 400 damage if you want to. And if you do, he becomes a 500 attack swiftness dude on turn 1. That seems pretty good.
So many people brought up this card with Majin.
Yes.
Play red, ping myself for 400 damage, swing for 5, pay 1 red, play a 6/6, swing for 6,
Because I'm
pay
taking
1,
damage.
Yeah.
pay a 6/6. So I took 400. You
They took
what?
11 at least. If you had just 2 will, they took
Yeah,
11.
11. If you put down 2 Majins and him, they took, what is that,
17?
17? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair trade,
solid.
right?
Solid numbers, guys. Numbers.
Yeah.
So, next card?
So next card, and these aren't like rares or anything, but I did want to highlight a couple, which are Burn the Cinders. I feel like this is going to be an extremely powerful card in this format.
Yes.
So 2 red, quick cast, chant. This card deals 700 damage to target J/Resonator. That's big. If it's a J ruler, it loses imperishable until end of turn. That's also big. If it's a Resonator and would be put into the graveyard from a field this turn, remove it from the game instead. That is huge. Deleting a Resonator and it doesn't even hit grave is pretty
It's huge.
paramount.
There's a lot of things that now trigger when they hit grave.
Like Layla and Alter. It can hit that, or just making sure that it can't be constantly resurrected by
Yeah.
degenerate things like March of the Dead. That's good stuff. Then it removes imperishable. So if that Loki is off in the corner being a degenerate and doesn't want to permanently stay dead, you just fix that by paying 2 red and then dumping your moons into it. So
Yeah.
that's good stuff. Now for the last one that is going to be important, I personally wanted this because of my grudge against like life gain.
Which, you don't like me paying 2 light to gain 18 life?
No.
No one likes that.
And
sound.
we're going to stop that with a card called Cerdo, the Blazing Volcano. It is also an addition mountain. And it costs 1 red, 1 void. And players cannot gain life. That is good. But even better, whenever Resonator is put into a graveyard from the field, this card deals 100 damage to each player. Now, I've already told y'all what I wanted, but this also does one thing that I feel like is important for our formats going forward. It allows for burn decks to be threatening. Like beforehand, the reason burn didn't do good, it was because you could either burn their board or burn their face, but you really couldn't do both. If you're burning their board, then they're not dying. If you're burning their face, then you're dying. So now you get to burn their board and chip them slowly, so eventually you can burn them off. So
Yeah.
I like this card for that. But we get to beat the crap out of our opponents with new cards called
Hold up,
Strangers.
you forgot about another notable reprint.
Who? Dreg? No one
Yeah.
plays Dreg.
So Turbo Guyver, we're one step closer, guys. We'll come back to this.
But
Trust
anyway,
me.
Real quick description of Dreg. He's another key player back from the day, like Gwyber. Dreg, 1 red, 4 void. Sounds familiar? Because it kind of is familiar. 12/12 dragon, flying. You may pay 1 less to play this card for each Resonator put into your graveyard from the field this turn. Pretty simple effect.
Oh my god, alter decks are going to be degenerate with him.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
that is 30.
Black red alter decks are like okay right now. So like with that thing, you're just like sack, play a 12/12.
And then sack
Search
alter.
for a 4-drop or
Ushua.
less.
Search for Ushua.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Now your 12/12 has flying, and you go get another 12/12
Yeah.
with flying. So it, like,
But
yeah,
but enough talking from the past. Let's talk about the new.
that's actually
So
not
so
2K.
so would you allow me to talk about the 1-drop stranger?
Sure, that's actually interesting. You want to talk about him? Let's hear it.
Why is this not in English?
I have an English one. Would you like to read my English one?
Sure.
All right.
I can read
Read it
this.
for the class.
So it's
Barbados.
Barbados. I'm not great with weird names. Barbados, the Crimson Duke. He's a stranger. He's a 1 red, 7/7. So that seems strong, right? Because golems were only ever 6/6 for one.
And we were just talking about
And you actually
Majin, which
pay
was a
for the
6/6.
golems.
Yeah.
So what if I told you Majin, but you don't have a restriction of when you can play it, and it sells swiftness? So it's 1 red, 7/7 swiftness. Enter, rest all other J/resonators. Now that includes your own things, but you're playing aggro, and since aggro loves to swing, you go swing, 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 play him, tap down everything else.
Oh no,
Swing
everything's
7.
already tapped.
Or if they have a board and you don't, pay 1, their board is now tapped. You swing for 7 directly into
I
them.
would like to point out this is the most savage thing to pull out of your stranger deck early game with Lilith.
Oh yeah.
Because if you go second, you energize out of Caduceus, trigger, get a stranger randomly. If you hit Barbados, you just tap Caduceus since it pays for strangers. Use the red, play Barbados, and then just gank for 7, and you rest whatever they might have on their board.
Yeah.
So I don't really see the deficit. Oh, well, I mean there is one,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we don't care.
Yeah.
And like this was the first card we saw as a stranger, and this 100% told me strangers are not going in the main deck because that thing
no,
is
dude.
broken.
Dude, I wouldn't
that
even-
thing is a
I
one
wouldn't
drop.
even put this in this side deck at that or the.
Yeah, you're like,
extra
hey,
deck.
how many of these are you playing in your extra deck? You're like,
None.
oh, extra
None.
deck. I mean, but it's an ISIS, man. Like I'm killing you. I'm murdering you. There's nothing you can do to stop me.
Turn 1, 7 damage.
Oh my god, if you
Someone
could
seven
run this
damage.
in main,
Turn 2.
Lumia, since she got Unbanned and Wander. Oh, I rest everything? Oh, I'm put this into play. Okay. Put this, rest the whole board, swing 7, end of turn, flicker that thing I just played. I'm sorry, what?
What if I can hit for 7 and flick my Rachel?
What if you could just not do that? How about that?
So
How about we just move on?
how about we move on to a 3 cost?
Uh-oh. Now this Allah, he coming. Allah, he coming. So Berserk Dragon, stranger. Resonator, stranger. Total cost, triple red. 2,000 attack, 400 defense, flying. Awakening for 1 red, 1 void, enter. This card gains swiftness until end of turn. At the end of turn, its controller banishes it. Now, I would like to point out something that y'all are going to flame me over. But the first 3 times I read this card, because I read it back to back, I was like, what? I don't
like,
get
no
why
way
this
this
card
thing
is good.
exists.
I was like, I don't get why this card is good. And then I looked at his stats. I was like, holy moly, he just pretty much deletes half your life. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this bonk. This is bonk.
So Invitation of Disaster was what, 11 drop that dealt 2,000?
Yes.
What if 5 drop 2,000?
That's why the
Now you
fuck
can
not?
get rid of it with like the new sword chant, stuff like that. So that is cool that you can play around it. So red has to be very smart about it.
Yeah.
But if you tap out,
Oh, if you tap
although
out,
that thing is
you are
killing you,
fucked.
it's like, wait, how much are you at? 13?
Do you have a flyer?
Is that Regalia tapped? Yes. Stones are tapped too. Paying 5, playing this thing, hitting you for 20 and you're dead. It's just like,
dumb.
you are at lethal range. If they put a stranger into their hand, you don't know what it is. And if you're at 2,000 or less, you always have to have something up to take care of that thing.
So imagine having Lynette. I know, of course, we're saying Lynette because she's the only fireman we've seen so far. Melgus exists too. But with Lynette, imagine at the end of your opponent's turn, activating her God's Art and hitting him into the field, coming into your turn.
You're right.
Jesus
Why pay
Christ.
5? Why pay 3? Just pay
Me
2.
too.
Right. Yeah.
God damn. You could really fucking high roll with these.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, at worst, you hit Barbados.
The only downfall to this card, I feel, is that it only has 400 defense. That is the only thing that is bad.
My
So-
God, if I had anything more, then we would be in trouble.
But guys, like, I don't care about that. So okay, so since Lynette is light, there was this card that came out in like it was New Dawn Rises. Yeah, so there's this card for Brunhild. It was called Country of the Sun Minerva. That edition, the one that says Resonaries you control gain eternal during your
Edition
turn.
you play.
Yes, exactly. Right. So it's with the 400 defense, it's low,
You're
but
like
then he
swinging,
can't
they're
die.
like block, it's gonna die. And you're like, no, it's not. You have to swing into it now. So 2 resonators are going down. Minimum. Because there ain't nothing. Perfect Loki is the only the only card that could ever attack into this and live.
Yeah.
And that's
With
only
a
if they
big
have
enough grave.
they would have to have 20 cards. And
Yeah.
then even then you can just go like pay 1 to burn it.
Yeah.
Even better, burial rights. So there's like,
It's like, oh wow, you attacked into it. So how much damage is there? Oh, this amount? Burial rights. Oh hey, look at that, it's dead.
so
So I guess any more red cards?
no, that's pretty much it. So these are not main deckable. I want to say that these shouldn't be main deckable.
We don't technically know, but if these are main deckable,
Then we're
which
gonna have
sure,
some goddamn problems.
you just play Divinity with these, which is why they can't be main deckable. Because
Yeah.
you would just play Divinity with these, and you're like, I don't.
I
need a
would
Strange
literally
Attack.
throw this in the Isis deck and hard cast him with Awakening by
can.
turn 4
Yeah,
or 5.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
because him and Isis, your Master Rune and him.
Oh,
you're
I'm switching out
32.
one of my runes for Contract Forged in Sand. I'm just swinging.
No,
for
I'm
4,400.
saying with the Master Rune and him, it's just 3,200 minimum.
Christ.
And if you put out like a sort of the volcano, they can't gain life. So what do you have to worry
I just
about?
realized something. Sandora's invasion hits him.
This
This
can't
is
be
why he
main
cannot
deckable.
be main
And
deckable.
Barbados hits him and Barbados.
Oh
So-
my God.
Now the only downside for hitting Barbados is you rested things that just came in. But guess what? You just have something that sticks.
Yeah.
So I guess moving on, we should move on to blue.
Blue.
Oh man, I like these blue
Where
cards.
is
To be
our
honest.
friend's blue? Okay.
So, do you want me to read the chant and you can read the resonator?
Yeah.
Let's read the resonator first so they know who it is for context.
And then oh yeah, that makes sense because
So-
of what the chant
Yeah.
does.
So Vala, the bewildering mage, 2 cost,
Definitely
2
not
blue.
Valentina.
Totally not Valentina, just Vala. 2 blue, 6/6 resonator, 5 heroes. So we now know one of the 5 heroes we could search for our light chant.
It's Vala, which is definitely not Valentina.
That's a
after she
mommy
gets
right
taken
there.
over
Yeah.
and goes evil.
But anyways, this card may not be banished as a cost to play a spell or an ability.
So why would I have that ability? What if I want to do that?
Well, no.
No, I'm saying why would I have that ability? Like, what if I want to
Because of
banish
the
it?
next line of
Yeah.
text.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so here we go. Enter. Switch the control of this card and the target resonator your opponent controls.
And there's a restriction on cost that's
no,
busted.
it's just anything.
Yeah.
So,
So it's just like she cannot be banished by your own effects, correct?
yeah.
So Dark Alice can't banish her.
No.
You want to hit them for 600 with bullet ball? Can't.
No.
You want to play literally most of the banishing cards? Can't. Can't pay costs with it, and that's huge.
You know
So
the-
she's a 6/6 for 2, but hey, I'm getting one of your resonators,
Yeah.
and it's not mine,
And
and you can't banish that.
This is how I see this effect being used. Your opponent goes turn 1 Gwyber. You're like, okay, cool. Turn 2, that's my Gwyber.
This is my Gwyber now. You can have a 6/6.
So what?
sticker.
Are we playing Ed and Eddie? That's my horse.
Yeah.
And you're just going, that's my horse to each other.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
and she's still a decent body for 2. So even if her
Yeah.
ability gets
She's along the
faded off,
Yeah,
you know.
she's still 6/6 that
Yeah.
can't be banished for cost.
And it's important because unlike IU, the 2-drop that steals a 1-drop, if she was to leave the field, control doesn't switch back.
Actually, so I would like to make a adjustment to something that one of you said about Dark Alice. She only says when paying for cost for a spell.
Oh,
ability.
right, yeah.
So
yeah.
she can still be banished to things like Dark Alice,
Yeah.
but as an additional cost to play his card, that won't
Right,
work.
yeah. My bad.
but,
my
but
bad.
that's still pretty.
Thing. But so let's move on to Bewildering Charm.
So
So real quick, this is a chant mage art. It's blue. The only other card that's referenced in mage art,
is Caduceus.
which produces what?
Red and
And white.
white.
So if you look here, you see, what the hell is this? I don't know.
Oh, I know
I've been
what-
staring
I
at
know
this
exactly
for
what
hours
that
on
tells
end,
me.
Yeah.
and I sort of know what it tells me.
I know exactly
don't
what
like
this
it.
tells me.
So anyway, it's a quick cast. Choose one. Return target resonator to its owner's hand, or draw a card. So the first ability is really good. The second ability is like if you don't have anything else to do, you can play this.
Yeah.
All right. So you're like, well, I want to return a resonator. Returning resonator is always good. I played enough blue bouncy things to know I love returning resonators.
yeah.
By the way, this one doesn't have a restriction on cost.
No.
Yes, every single iteration seems to get better for a 1-cost
Yeah.
bouncer because we had like time one, which was like a 3 cost or less. Then we got
Well, Shayla's return was 4 or less, but then time was 3 or less, but with extra stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time as time, we got Pathweed part was was a 2 cost that was, well, it was mistakenly printed as a 2 cost. It was actually a 1 cost, and it just did everything.
Right. You have Skyfall, but that restricts you. You have to have a machine resonator to be a quick cast.
So this one doesn't restrict you. You just have to play blue. So anyway, so you would be like, well, I want to bounce their resonator. But what if they only have 1? And you have a Vala and 3 mana. So you go Vala, enter target. Bounce with Bewildering Charm back to my hand.
I play
Enter
Vala,
resolves. I get it. She's now back in my hand, so I can steal something else the next turn.
God, it's gonna be so good. But no,
So you don't get a resonator. I just get to steal yours for 3 mana.
I'm taking Skyfall out of my machine deck. I'm gonna put this thing in.
I mean, it's just better. You're right. Yeah, there's no downside to this.
System calls.
So did you want to read The Stranger?
Sure. I'll read the Stranger. Stranger Danger. Yeah, Stranger Danger. Another dragon. Rahab, the Emperor Dragon of Riptide. That's a sick name, by the way. Stranger Resonator total costs 3 blue. So he has flying. And enter, draw 2 cards. Now I want to point something out. So some people might look at this and go, wow, this is pretty lame. Consider this. This is a card that doesn't come from your main deck. That when put into play draws you 2 cards from your main deck while being a 10/10 flyer. That is actually pretty strong. Because normally with draw cards, they take up space to try to draw other things.
Even more than that. Draw cards, typically a draw 2 is worth 2 blue.
Yeah.
So putting that logic here, you're now paying 1 for 1,000 flyer.
Yes.
What?
This is a very misleading card. Someone might go, oh, it's
you look
not
at this
that
and you're
good.
like, not enough text next, and you're just, and other people read it and you're like,
That's
this is
way
broke.
too
like
overstated.
this isn't broken, but it's really, really strong.
I got
Hell,
one word for you.
another comparison.
Burglemere. You stack your deck so you know what you're going to draw. You're like, oh, I need those like very soon. So it's like, yeah, I would like to draw those while also, getting big.
You
dude
know
off
what
you.
another comparison to this card is? It's not even comes close to this card, but we had a 3-cost rune that draws 2. And it was just a normal rune. This is so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you got to think about it. Like also, if you got this off of Faria, you now got so her God's Art says that it's her God's Art that plays it. No, her Enter plays it.
Yeah. Her enter puts it in
Yeah,
randomly.
Yeah. So if you, so you play it, you flip for free. You get a 1,000 flyer. You draw 2 cards. So if you're like, oh, I don't have enough cards to play anything, Judgment, draw 2 cards. I now have more cards to play things.
Yeah.
Immediately.
So
There's
dumb.
no question. You're like, GG. Next card. You're like, boom.
And that's what I'm saying.
easy.
It's hard to lowball. Like at most you get average stuff.
Like even the 1-drop. If I got that randomly, like randomly, and for some reason with Lunnith, it's my only card that I can play off. Sure, why not? Like I'll God's Art it onto your board.
Yeah.
I hope
It's
it's
like, oh, you're about to swing at me.
During their combat or they're in the turn, you pretty much just pay 2 to rest their board. That's dumb.
so dumb. I'm really
No,
hoping we
I
get
just
some
say like
mediocre
always
strangers.
combat, always combat. Just so you can just sit there and be like, combat, and you're like, no, pass. Okay, my turn. Swing for 7.
Jesus
Play
Christ.
play something else. Get another one in my hand. Boom, hit for 7.
These might not be runes, but even with the things
No.
you could do with this is
I
getting
just
crazy.
saw something about Vala. I could put her in my Val 1.0 deck.
So I'm glad you brought. Hold up.
In
up.
response to you going into end of turn, I paid 2
So-
flash
so-
Vala
so-
in through Valentina's effect.
So I brought up this card because I was about to get there. But yes, I was gonna say, why don't we just run Wanderer and play Vala in Val 1.0 and just
That's another waifu to put into my only waifu deck.
Soon you'll make a Val only deck. I like this idea.
Yes.
So real quick,
love these cards.
I just want to say that there's one
shout out.
one shout out of a normal rare,
I
which
love
is
this card.
Alice's Little Scout.
It's so
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah.
So I want to point out something that a lot
That
of you are
she's
probably
cute and
thinking.
small?
Yes, small.
She's small.
So the biggest thing is we have Gwyver, we have Drag, we have Alice's Little Scout. We're now currently missing Tama and Skittles, otherwise known as Adam Brawley.
Now Tama was
Grim and then Lapis.
Yes.
I know. But besides him, we could also
we could just
we,
get another.
we could get Adam Brawley, Fruitcake, Gwen. We have the entire lineup that we used to in Alice Quest.
Oh my god.
So
No.
you guys remember
if they
Trevor
give me
Gwyver?
Gwen
It's coming
back,
back.
I've already said if they give me Athena back, it's over. If they give me Gwen back, it is super over.
I still need my Maribella's work. At least Give me workshop.
Dang, have we been through all the cards except for the black non-English spoilers?
So
far?
I'm gonna go through the black. So these are not released in English yet. Probably by the time this video comes out, they should be. So I'm gonna read this one because it has my boy Lapis on it.
Jesus Christ.
So it is a 1-drop chant, 1 black to play it. All it does is it says you get to look at your opponent's hand and you get to discard an addition or a chant. So it's not nearly as good as some of the other discards, but it's still very solid to get whatever you want out of the hand.
Oh yeah.
It's not really Resonator or Regalia. I don't understand why you can't hit Regalia because of the fact that he was the anti-Regalia ruler. But maybe they're changing how he works. I don't know.
I'm just thinking we're gonna get another chant that hits it.
Probably.
They probably went, well, we don't
What I'm
want to
telling
print
you.
an answer to a card in the same set that we just brought these
We
cards
don't want
back.
another look of corruption.
No. Oh, that makes sense. So first one is from his back.
Yeah.
Next one's going to be him at the peak he's looking at, but from the front. And third set, we get him.
I could see that.
They pull something like that where they're like, oh yeah, the front side's now does the opposite of what the other one
Yeah.
did, which would be really good. So it's not quite as good as I was hoping, but I'm just so happy Lapis is back. Oh, you have no idea. So would you like to talk about the...
I would like to talk about Estema. So Estema is our stranger for black. Oh yeah, she's an SR. So cool. 3-drop, all 3 black, 10/10, Resonator, Fallen Angel, Stranger. Flying, drain. At the beginning of each player's turn, that player banishes a non-Fallen Angel Resonator. I wonder what cards this plays with. I don't know. Maybe another card that rhymes with Emma. Let me make it easy. Estema.
You know who
Oh
also,
my god!
You know who also plays well with this? Belial.
Hell yeah.
Belial goes like those two together, just like are like.
You know,
are
I
you
know
playing
who
Fallen
else
Angels?
plays good with this? Lucifer. You just throw them all in one kit.
Yeah, I had to double check this morning whenever we saw these spoilers. I had to like, shit, I couldn't remember if OG Lucifer was a fallen angel.
Oh no!
No, it's an
But
angel.
no, yeah, he was an
Because
angel
it's
/ demon.
celestial
Oh
ring
no!
seraph.
Yeah.
Do you know what I just came to the realization of?
What?
So before I say it, have you read all of her effects yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Melgus. We pretty much know at this point what his natural colors are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, red black.
Red, black. So Melgus Alter. I don't even know what he does, but this already
That just
sounds like
sounds
not a
better.
good time.
If we get a dual stone that like that's exclusive for Melgus, why the fuck not?
Instead of him
Oh,
going
yeah.
aggro, he's
I'm
just
pretty
going
sure we
fallen
know.
angels, and it's like, well,
Sorry, Lich. Sorry, Lucifer.
And the
you're
best
now
part is
bitches.
so think about it. You can't banish a J ruler. You have to banish a resonator. Well, Melgus isn't a fallen angel, but he's not a resonator.
Yeah.
So you just judgment, get her out, and then you're like, you just sit there.
and you
I-
throw a Cerdo out, so every time they banish something,
Yeah.
they're getting
Yeah,
pinged.
and
Aggro
then
fallen
your turn
angel.
comes, you draw, and then you just go, oh, look at that. Like I don't have.
Dude, I could see Melgus control
I don't
being
have-
a real
Yo,
fucking
and then you
thing.
alter for Belial, and Belial already says anytime a resonator hits grave, you burn your opponent for 100. So it's
There's
stacking now.
200 for everything. That
You
hits
drop
the board.
a 1-drop on a board, and you're
I
about to
feel
take
like
a bug.
Melgus
fucking
aggro control is going to be a
Oh,
thing
yeah.
where you're just
Yeah,
like,
I
I'm going
know.
to beat your face in
I
at
think
the
that's
same
gonna be the
point where
next
I'm just
deck
going
I
to sit
play.
back. Like early game, I'm just going to hit you for a bunch of damage, get you down to like 1,000. Mid game, just like sit there and just let you burn yourself. And
Yeah.
eventually, you're just going to die.
Jesus Christ. You know what I want?
I don't even know what the hell Melgus does, and I already like this idea.
I want red, black, white, because I want what's Alice's World of Madness or whatever, the edition.
Yes,
So it's
from
like-
Lapis.
Oh yeah. So instantly you already have the minus 200. Every player takes 200 whenever something dies. And then you're just stacking minuses on board constantly.
My God.
So if anything survives a minus, a stemma gets rid of it at the beginning of the turn.
My God, that's nuts. Like that. I mean, that's good stuff. We don't even know what most of these cards do, but we can already connect the dots with what exists.
Yeah.
Now there's one more card to be talked about.
Which okay, so we got
Keep moving. Other way.
other way.
Other way. Other
Other way.
way.
Well, you scrolled to my right.
I'm sorry. That's my
Oh,
fault.
yes.
Oh!
So I have to talk about this because he is my
Oh.
OG boy.
Your
this-
OG boy? Okay, well, yeah. But hey, I played him in dragon form.
So did I. I played him in Zombie Dragon form.
But that one, that's what
Oh
I'm talking
man,
about.
I remember playing him in.
I did play him in Dragon form, the original. So Blazer. I'm looking at it as if I can read moon runes, but besides the point, it's 2 red, 2 black, 1,000, 1,000.
Flying.
Flying. Yes, I know. Flying. Enter. Target J/Resonator. Remove all abilities from that target, then kill it. If it's a J ruler, the ruler now loses all of its abilities till the end of the game. The only ability this does not get rid of is Divinity.
And presumably Stranger, but we don't have confirmation on that yet.
Yeah.
Busted.
But either way, if I can just blank your ruler as if it was Astral.
Just fucking alter this thing during your opponent's turn.
Yeah,
Do they ever want
yeah
to
they're
do
like
anything?
Judgment, and you're like, in response, kill it.
Yeah.
I don't care what you remove with Lenneth. I don't care what you pump.
Technically, Judgment has to go through like response to enter. Kill
Yeah,
it.
no, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
they're like Judgment, and you're like, enter? No.
Well, even if they remove Astral from it, when they flip it, it's still going to be blank, right? Because it's the same card.
They can't flip it.
No.
According to what I was told, Judgment is technically an ability. So it removes Judgment, and you're like, I heal it. Okay. I Judgment. Nope. Now,
no.
we got to get confirmation
Yeah.
just to be sure, because I don't think we've ever had a blank a ruler.
No, we haven't. We have not had a blank.
We've had blank a J ruler. I've seen blank a Resonator. I ain't never seen blank a ruler. So if once the card comes out, we can 100% get confirmation with the new CR, blah, blah, blah. Either way, it's really strong.
Yeah.
Because Divinity Rulers, it doesn't do a lot. But the new rulers, it's going to help a lot. Just because if you're on the front and you're like, okay, well, you kill my J ruler. You know, like normally you could just be like, well, I'm just going to keep playing Regalia and getting value out of it. But if I blank it, no value. You're just going to sit there and you're gonna be like, presumably, even if you get to keep the stranger deck, you can't add strangers to your hand except for an outside ability.
Yeah.
Besides them, which is huge.
And it's like, we could have waited to talk about some of these translated cards, but these translated or non-translated cards were just too good not to talk about.
Oh, man.
No,
Blazer was 100%. I'm pretty sure it was a mistake by whoever put it out because they ended up deleting it pretty fast. But I read that card and I was in
Dude,
ecstasy.
Blazer's
man.
art looks fucking dope.
I love that art. I love the kanji because I can't read it, but it looks beautiful. And I just love that ability. That thing, everything about it just makes me so happy.
So it's like, at first I know there's a lot of people that are skeptical about them like reprinting like Alice Cluster cards, but I'm pretty fucking happy to see some of these old friends come back.
Here's the way I look at it. So, and I don't want to spend too much time on this part because it can be a talking point for a future video. But briefly, I would say that I'm not too mad about it. It depends on how they handle it. But in any other card game, they do straight up reprints of cards all the time.
Dude,
like for example, in
talk about Magic.
Pokemon, Ultra Ball is Ultra Ball. They have never printed a card that is like, hey, this is Ultra Ball. Nah, it's literally called Ultra Ball, and we're happy as hell to see it when it comes back. Hopefully, it comes back.
Magic does the same thing. They're like, oh, there's an issue. Well, we have a previous card that solves it. Reprint it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Sometimes.
fine with seeing cards that were especially good.
The only card I'm meh is Gwyber. Because Gwyber is broken. So if we get too many tokens,
Yeah.
it's going to break.
As of
but
right
besides
now-
that, yeah, it's fine. Like right now, it's
And
like
even
turn
right now,
3.
Gwyber,
It's okay.
Yeah, you got the
he
one
can
cap.
still be good, but the power level of the things as a whole are much different than were before.
Yeah.
When Gwyber came out, the game, I wouldn't say was a bit slower, but the curves were a bit different. For you to get him out that early, it was like, hold up. My thing can deal 500 damage. I'm going to poke him. All right, down, kill you. All right, cool. But now, we got Resonators that go neg your board for minus Grave.
fuck ton.
I got like 6 moons, chunk 'em, destroy target dragon. That one's rotating,
Yeah,
but
it was.
like, there's ways to answer 'em.
Yeah.
And so much destroy target J Resonator stuff. It's
And we could technically now just steal them.
yeah. So he's still gonna be strong,
Yeah.
and you don't want to get
But
hit
if
by
he's
him.
unanswered, then there'll be a problem.
Yeah. So I like the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the reprint so far, and I like that. So far, it's just been like decent cards. Some of them are meh, but overall,
They got to
like,
feel it with some
Yeah.
mess stuff.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you know how to.
But I'm not happy with how small the set is, but at the same point, I'm happy that we're getting good cards that they feel good.
Yeah.
They're not just like, meh, here's another ability of the same typing, like all the strangers seem to be like really good. Like even if it's draw two, like it's
Yeah.
like, well, blue used to draw cards a lot. In Alice Cluster, there was a card that cost 2 blue to draw 2 cards. Let's just slap it on a 10-10 flyer and let's see where this thing goes.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I just thought about something for Memoria. If they are going to be cards that aren't legal in New Frontiers, I would almost want them to just print like textless cards. Maybe the name.
Oh,
But
just
that's
like
it.
art cards?
Yeah.
Like I think Modern Masters, for the latest Modern Masters from Magic, I could be wrong what the set was called, but like each pack came with like a textless art
Mm-hmm.
card. That was just the art.
Yeah, like at most it could probably say the name, just so you know.
So it'd just be like the Texas Stones almost.
I think that would be cool. So if you can't play them, at least you have something pretty to look at. So, or at least play them in that format. But overall, I'm interested to see where it goes. It's definitely looking promising. I could definitely see this power curve getting stronger as we go. So, yeah, and it's pretty crazy. Now, will they be able to stand up to Divinity Rulers off the start? Probably not, but I see that changing in like
Oh yeah.
set
Yeah.
2, set 3, depending on how far they go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like we've seen 4 of the strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's gonna be, and those are all from the set. So we haven't even touched the.
We haven't even looked at
One's
10.
in the starter deck.
Yeah, so we're getting 5 for each starter deck. So there's 10 strangers. We have no idea what they do.
No.
So they could be trash. They could be amazing. Like we don't know.
No.
We know nothing about these starter decks except for 1 ruler, 1 regalia, 1 chant, which I think comes in the starter deck, and then 1 resonator.
Yeah, so as far as we know, the power curve isn't even done yet.
Yeah. But all we know is, like, we've seen 1 and 3 costs. So it would not surprise me if there's 3, 4, and 5 costs.
Like, holy hell.
So what the hell does a 5 cost do?
I don't even want to know what the fuck a 5 cost does.
Because if
Has
a
to
3
be
cost
like-
is
the game.
24.
I better have like a
24.
fucking Lancelot. Like a
They
full-
can basically just reprint what was his name? The Griffin. We could end up getting a stranger that's
No.
basically Griffin, but
No,
like
I didn't
costs
like this.
actual 5 but see, that's another problem. It won't be actual 5
No,
because we have
you'll
ways of
cheat
cheating
in
it out.
randomly.
Like, see, that's the scary part.
I hope we get just some like mediocre strangers.
The
were
mediocre ones
forced.
we've gotten so far are still pretty damn good.
Look, the mediocre one, draw 2 cards. Okay.
With a 10-10 flyer body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically 1 mana for 10-10. Or if you just get it off randomly, basically it's free. Free draw 2 with a 10-10 flyer attached to it. I'm okay with this.
But I think that should be where we kind of stop talking about spoilers for
Oh,
now.
yeah.
But so we're hoping for more good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to keep up with the spoilers, you can follow us on Facebook, where we post like pretty close to like as soon as it's announced.
Yeah. Basically, we check every so often, and then as soon as we see it, one of us will post it
Yeah.
to the page. So we tried to be pretty consistent. Make sure you can check it there. But besides that, like we post usually like we get like the foreign ones, like
Yeah.
whether it's Spanish, Italian, or Japanese. Which, well, actually, we haven't got much of Japanese.
Pretty
Yeah.
much every language
Actually, we haven't
except
got Japanese
ours.
at all. What am I saying? They don't
I
print
believe I was
Japanese.
trying to use that.
Yeah,
when you
it
were-
was from Taiwan. So yeah, Chinese. My bad.
But yeah, you can keep up to date with that right there. Do you remember we do have our Vite Ramen tournament coming up this Sunday on, I can't remember the days. My
The
days are mixed up.
27th?
The 27th of October.
And plus, we will be giving out a Shiva playmat, the one from Decisive Battles of Valhalla. We're going to be raffling that out to any of the participants that don't make top 8. So that way, more people leave with
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been told by Andrew, the owner of LGS here in Richardson, well, not here, we're not in Richardson, but, in Richardson, that if we get enough people, he'll be willing to kind of like up the prices as that goes on. I'm thinking about donating some promos also. Don't know
Yeah.
about you guys, so that'll be even more pricing. Lots of good stuff, good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So of course we'll leave a link for that. The one thing I wanted to mention about the spoilers a little bit is just something kind of not quite about the cards themselves, but the flavor text on some of the cards have been changing.
Yep. They have.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can
that
confirm.
is
So
true,
this is
true,
a new story.
So
So-
I actually did want to say that I wanted to cover like not necessarily where we're at in the story, but like why like this flavor changing matters and like a lore related video. We're gonna talk more about that, but basically getting people up to speed both in context, in the lore, and like the kind of cars they can expect to see in this cluster reprint or not. So that's definitely the
Like
text has changed, and that's important.
Lapis' Darkstorm. I want that
Lapis
card.
is Dank Storm.
Stop.
Dang. No,
Stop.
Darkstorm. I want
Oh,
Darkstorm.
one last thing that is important that I do want to mention, Lenneth is the buy a box promo. So for the first print run, she is guaranteed to be in your box. That is great because now, like, there's going to be a billion of her floating
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what? You're going to have an extra 7. You're going to
I'm
have an
gonna have-
extra 2. I'm going to have, like, an extra, like, 3.
I might have an extra, two. Yeah, two.
So, like, and I love that because, like, last cluster was like, oh, we don't have enough rulers for
Well,
new
now-
players.
now
It's
we
like,
fucking have
now it's just
rulers.
going to be like, hey, man, like, you're new to the game. Yeah, here's a ruler. It's like, really, for free? And you're like, sure.
Well,
I have a stack of them, man. Like,
Yeah. But
and
so many rulers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good, though, for now at least.
yeah. And then the fact that Caduceus, whatever, her regalia is going to be the promo for pre-release.
Yeah.
I love that because then that means that it's just like if you go to pre-release, you get one of that. You get a box, you get one of her. You already have a quote-unquote deck starting to be built
Yeah.
from whatever else you get from your boxes. You have strangers, you have other cards, you can just make a deck, and it's fun.
Oh, we will also be holding a pre-release at LGS.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, please.
I'm buying 3 kits.
Jesus Christ.
You just need to buy enough to get
Well,
all
no,
the
sorry.
cards.
I meant like 3 like participant
Yeah.
kits, not like
Yeah.
full kit.
But anyways, yeah. So LGS, the actual name is the LGS, the local game store in Richardson. They'll be getting like 2 boxes for each starter deck. I think he said he was starting
Something
off
like
with
that.
something like that. He's getting 6 boxes so we could use for prize support. Then he's also getting like 2 or 3 pre-release kits. So we should have enough product for a while. So if you ever want to stop by and just hang out, please do.
Yeah,
Always nice.
meet some people.
Yeah. But I think that's it for tonight.
Yeah.
So this has been us at WLTCG. I'm Howell. That's Sam. That's Roderick. And it's about time we whore ourselves out to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lenneth is the new waifu.
Nah, man. Val.
You mean Vala?